you've obviously been working a long time to get to this moment. Now, like the fight week, it's got to feel like reality at this moment. I mean, what's the emotions for you at this point?
I'm excited. You know, it's been a long time coming, a long road, and I've been here now 2 weeks with my team, and I'm just excited. It's been, like I said, I was number one. I told these guys a long time ago, and now here we are, 2 days out, 3 days out, and I'm excited.
You know, I mean, obviously, we talk about the first fight, but it was so long ago. I mean, is there any factor at all? Like, is there anything in whether it be mentally, psychologically, anything that you take from that first fight that benefits at all?
For me, no. It's just I look at it as a brand new fight, a brand new opponent. He's improved. I've improved, you know what I mean? It's two different fights. When we first fought, I was only doing martial arts for like 4 or 5 years. I'm now 30 years old. This is my 4th main event for the UFC, and it's 2 different fights, and I am excited to go out there and prove to the world.
We know the run of bad luck that you had with the fight cancellations, with the no contest, with all that stuff. I mean, was there ever any point along the way where you're like, this journey's stupid, like I'm done with it, like I'm not doing this anymore?
You have them days, you know, you have ups and downs. You have days you think, like the why me days and stuff like that, but you have to refocus your mind and also use that time to get better and better. And all this week I was feeling like belonging. I feel like this is how it's meant to play out. This is where I'm meant to be right now, you know. And but yeah, like I said at the time, it was frustrating having pullouts and getting COVID, and it was just a mad 2 years, you know.
Now we're here. What's the most important part of this? I mean, is it about becoming UFC champion and that alone, or is it about some extraction of a measure of revenge of the last person to beat you?
All of it. You know, obviously he was the last person to get a decision over me 7 years ago. But number one is to be a world champion, because I know how much it means to my team and to my family and to me, and how hard I've worked to get here, you know. And so number one is to become a world champion.
The interesting part about this, right, is your grappling has gotten way better. His striking has gotten way better. But at the end of the day, what kind of fight do you expect? I mean, do you think that he'll want to come out and strike with you? Do you think he ultimately just reverts back to his base?
Yeah, probably. If I was him, I'll come out and try to wrestle, you know. I think he's gonna try to come out and strike. You got to think, like, he was a wrestler for his whole life, and to now he's getting like finishes. You're gonna fall in love with it. It's natural for that to happen, you know. But I am just leaps ahead of him when it comes to striking. He's a good wrestler, but I'm a good mixed martial artist. I can put it all together. Great jiu-jitsu, good grappling. We'll see. When I picture the fight in my head, it all plays out different. But when you do fight, it never plays out how you picture it. You know? So we'll see.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, Saturday night, you raise that belt. I mean, what does that moment mean for you to be world champion? Like, what does that represent for you?
Everything, you know, it'd be a congratulations to myself as well for sticking through these ups and downs, sticking through these hard times, and then we thought, oh, Leon got bad luck, you know, and just being proud of myself for, like I said, sticking through it and going through it, and for my family, for my team, it would mean everything.
Leon, a lot of talk about Kamaru's status in the history of MMA. Dana says that if he wins this, he could be considered the greatest of all time. I'm curious for you, do you think he could be the greatest of all time, or do you think he's the greatest welterweight of all time? Where do you see him in history of MMA?
I don't know. He's a good fighter, you know. But I think to be the greatest of all time, I consider people like John Jones, and you have to be good at everything. You can't be good at just wrestling, or you have to be good at everything, you know. But he'd be in the conversation well, you're not going to beat me, but he'd be in the conversation, you know. So fair play to him.
Do you think it's easier for you to kind of ignore all that stuff because you've been in there with him before, and you know he's just human, and it's not this crazy thing that you're not expecting?
Yeah, for sure. Like all this pound for pound and all this, I just don't see it. I didn't feel it in the fight. I don't see it. I don't see it in his techniques. I just don't see it. You know, he's a very good fighter. He has improved, and I'm not going in this fight blinded, thinking, "Oh, this is another wrestler again." It's not. But yeah, I just don't see the pound for pound thing. But fair play to him.
On the flip side of that, do you think the more he hears that, the more overconfident he could become?
Yeah, it's natural. He's natural. Like that's all he's talking about now. Is pound for pound. The man don't wear the stuff wearing t-shirts. He's loving it, you know. So like I said, he's earned it. So I'm not gonna sit here and hate on him, you know. So fair play.
There's no risk of you stealing his outfit ideas at the press conference this week.
Nah, that's not me, you know. Terry Crews, he's sick, but nah, fair play to him.
Yeah, a quick one right here. You said your league's ahead of Kamaru in terms of striking. So would you put yourself at the top of the list of best strikers in this division overall?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. When it comes to striking, in the top 5, like, who is it? When it comes to just pure striking, you know? Master, though, that's probably the other 3, Gilbert Burns, Kobe, and Master, his last 3 fights. You probably put him as the best striker out of them 3. And he's the shit striker, you know what I mean? So it's like, him and Kobe fought, just 2 wrestlers that decided to have a boxing match. When, I don't know what the fuck Gilbert did. He just came out and just swung for the fences, gassed himself out and got knocked out with a jab. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I'm just leaps ahead of him when it comes to striking.
Can I get your thoughts on Anthony Joshua's fights also fighting on Saturday against Usyk? It's
a big night for the UK, you know, to have... and we're both going into rematches, which is crazy as well. I think we'll go out and get the win. You know, also I'm hoping for him to get the win, and it's going to be a massive night for the UK.
And who do you have in the Eubanks Jr. Conor Benn fight?
I'll probably go Eubank. I think it'd be too big for him. I know they put like a readjustment clause on it, but I think it'd be too big for him, and it's too early for Conor, I think.
Would you ever like to see a Leon, just back here a second, down in front of you. Would you ever like to see a rehydration clause in MMA? Do you think that's something that could work?
No, computers find ways around it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I know guys that like boxers, they'll do that. They're like, yeah, I'll do it. Then they'll make the weight in the morning, or they'll rehydrate fully and then sweat in the morning, weighing. And so it's like there's always ways around it, you know. So. I don't mind.
Leon, Dana White told Yahoo Sports yesterday that if you win this fight, you guys are going to do a
trilogy. Pound for pound if I win the fight. I should be pound for pound. Go on.
But he said this would be an instance where ahead of time he'd be fine saying Kamaru deserves a rematch or a trilogy fight. Is that something you've thought about, that you not only would have to beat him Saturday, but back-to-back?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Like you say, he's been a dominant champion, you know, so... Naturally in sport, in boxing or MMA, when you defend the belt a couple of times and been dominant, you normally get a rematch. So I definitely envision doing it again.
And I mean, what would you want the timeline for that to be? I mean, like if you beat him badly and he's out for a while, would you want to fight someone else probably and be active?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I want to be an active champion. You know, I don't want to be once a year. I want to be active. You know, and I'm already 30 years old, so. I'm going into my prime now, so the more fights I have, the better off it will be for me.
And I know you've talked about the Diaz versus Chima fight a fair bit. I'm just curious from you, as a former opponent of Nate, what do you think, if this is his last fight in the UFC, his legacy is in this company and the sport?
He's a solid motherfucker, you know. He's like the Diaz brothers. They are who they are, and that's what I respect about them. They haven't changed over the years. They are who they are. They're solid. They're tough. I remember watching them when I first started MMA, you know, and so I think they're going to have a good legacy, both of the brothers, Nick and Nate, you know.
Leon over here, to your left. Kamaru's been on interviews talking about the first fight, talking quite a bit about the first fight. Do you think maybe because he's doing that, he might be overlooking you a tiny bit at least?
He's talking about everything apart from this fight. He's talking about going up 205, fighting Canelo, doing... everything apart from the fight. You know, I am solely focused on becoming a world champion, and if he thinks it's going to be like the first fight, he's already lost the fight. I've erased that fight out of my mind a long time ago, and if you think he's the same kid he's in the fight, then we'll see Saturday night.
And you thought of maybe let's say you win on Saturday, you call out Canelo yourself?
Nah, I need to. I know I can't beat Canelo in a boxing match. I'm not deluded. You know what I mean? This guy's deluded. You cannot beat Canelo. I know it's a payday thing, but boxing for boxing, you cannot beat Canelo. MMA, yeah, he'll win. same MMA, I beat Canelo, but for a pure boxing match in the square, he'll probably win. That's just honesty. I'm not deluded. It is what it is.
Right. And you've been waiting quite a while for a title shot to begin with. Now you've been out since June last year. How hard has this wait been for you to finally get to this point?
It don't feel as long, I've been off for like a year before during the pandemic, and I've always said I don't believe in run rust. I don't believe in nothing like that. I think as long as you live the life, dedicate yourself to the sport, which I do, you should get the results. And Saturday night I'll get the result.
Leon, on your right. I believe you said that you've been out here for 2 weeks. What's the advantage of coming out to Salt Lake City and being here for that long ahead of the fight?
Just you get acclimatized a bit better. Normally UFC brings you out on like the Tuesday of the fight week. There's not enough time. When it's in the UK now, it's like 7 hours ahead, so I'll be like falling asleep and shit. And not enough time to make weight and acclimatize to the air, to the time zones and everything. So I like to come out. I do it for all my fights. I pay with extra money just to come out early with my team, and I want to be comfortable going into fight week. I don't want to feel like it's rushed or I'm not having everything that I need,
Hearing from NBA players who come here and play the Utah Jazz, we hear from them that the elevation is an issue in terms of their wind. Has that been something that you needed that extra time to kind of get used to?
Before, everyone was talking about the elevation. So, like, back home, I was like sleeping at sea level, I had like a mad tent over my bed for the last 2 months, like sleeping in it. But when I came out, I couldn't tell no difference. It felt same, I know the studies on it is not, they say some people might feel it, some people might not, and since I've been training, I just feel like I'm back home in Birmingham. And
this is the first numbered pay-per-view that the UFC has ever brought to Salt Lake City. What was your reaction when you found out that, rather than fighting in Vegas or Los Angeles or wherever, that you'd be fighting in Salt Lake City, Utah?
First of all, I didn't know where it was. I was like, how was that? I asked my manager, when you're a kid, you picture like your first UFC Tower. You always picture somewhere massive, like it's going to be in Vegas, it's going to be like New York and somewhere like dramatic, but the title is a title, no matter where you put it. I'll become world champion, so either it is.
So not to look past your current opponent, but say you beat Usman, say you beat him again in the trilogy, who's up next? Is it Khamzat? Are you wrapping up Jorge Masvidal? Do you have like a preference?
Well, my preference would be obviously Jorge. Obviously, he needs to go back and get a few wins, and then I love that one to happen in the UK, to have it back in the 02 where the incident first happened, and I think it'd be a great sell for the UFC. It'd be a great revenge for me, and so. But at the moment, I think both our careers is going into different ways. I'm going there, he's going there, so it's difficult to make it make sense. But that'd be my preference.
And then what about Khamzat?
Khamzat, him as well. I was meant to fight. We got matched up like 3-4 times. So that fight will happen when it's meant to happen,
All the way back here to your right, Leon, wanted to ask what it means to you after so long to finally be here, fight week. You had been looking for this title shot, for this rematch for so long and so many delays. What does it mean to just be here finally this week?
It means a lot. It means a lot to me, to my team, to my family that I stayed the course. Everyone was doubting me, but do this, do that, why you're not fighting? I was trying to fight, like, during the pandemic, I got matched up with Khamzat, with Masvidal, the whole lot, and so it would mean a lot to me, and it means a lot to me that I'm here now, and we're just days out from me becoming a world champion. I know how much it would mean for the UK, for me to capture the belt, to be the second guy from the UK to do it, and how much it means to my team and to my family,
And is there a satisfaction with just being able to get back to being active at this point?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm only 30 years old. I can't be sitting out much longer. I need to be active. And after this fight, after I win, I'll be looking to fight again this year and just stay active.
Leon, what have you learned about yourself since your last fight with Kamaru 7 years ago?
I don't know. I think I just learned more. My belief in myself was correct. You know that what you think in your head, like that you're good enough to be here. That you are. You know, and I think that's what I'm most proud of myself for. My mentality that I've got, not just through MMA. I got it from life and what life has taught me. You know, so I'm proud of my mentality that life has given me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need this water loaded.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.